When Ford brought back the Bronco, it wasn't just another SUV. It was a direct shot at Jeep with a removable roof, removable doors, and standard GOAT modes. It made off-roading more accessible than ever, opening the door for everyday people to get out and explore. For me, my Bronco journey started when I bought a two-door Black Diamond over 2 years ago. Hunting one down at a time when they were hard to find, fighting through markups, and finally bringing it home. That's when I realized the best parts of the Bronco aren't always the obvious ones, and some of the coolest options never made it to production, while others took years to show up. And with prices climbing since launch, the big question is it still worth it? In a market flooded with crossovers, the Bronco's comeback stood out. Ford promised a real deal 4x4 built for adventure, not just off-road looks. Its boxy silhouette, manual transmission option, and factory 35s were all signals that this was something different. It wasn't trying to be everything for everyone. It was going all in on capability, nostalgia, and fun. The 2020 reveal concepts took the internet by storm. They showed off bold colors, high-end leather interiors, see-through donut doors, and eye-catching two-tone roll bars. The hype was off the charts. But by 2021, when the first Broncos started arriving, some of the most hyped features never made it to production. The see-through doors, two-tone roll bars, and brown leather interiors were nowhere to be found. Even painted modular hardtops, which Ford had promised for some of the premium trims at launch, simply didn't happen. Beyond styling, some everyday features you'd expect in a modern SUV never made it into the Bronco. There's no lane centering, adaptive cruise still lacks stop and go, rear passengers went years without AC vents, and ventilated seats were never an option. And if you start with a soft top, you can swap on a hard top, but unless you add wiring, you won't have the rear defroster or wipers. It's possible, but you'd think Ford would have included it from the factory. Some of these lack of options have been addressed over time. Ford finally offered a factory-painted white hardtop on the Heritage Edition, and by 2025, painted tops finally became available. Four-doors also gained rear AC vents, a fix owners had been asking for since launch. Meanwhile, the aftermarket stepped up where Ford didn't. Anderson Composites built doors inspired by the original donut doors, and Turnoff Road offered paintable hardtops for customers who felt forced to buy a soft top early on. Meanwhile, tech in the Bronco has shifted too. Every Bronco now comes with a 12-inch screen, and in 2025, the analog gauges were swapped for a full digital cluster. When Ford brought the Bronco back, part of the promise was endless customization, different trims, special editions, and even the idea that you could really build your perfect Bronco. But a few years in, the lineup has been pared back, and nowhere is that more obvious than the two-door. For 2025, you can only get a two-door in 3 trims: Base, Badlands, and the Strop Edition. And the only way to pair the two-door with the V6 is the $75,000 Strop. That means the more affordable two-door V6s that were attainable in the early years are basically gone. And for anyone chasing that classic Bronco formula, the options are a lot more limited than Ford originally promised. But specs and trims aside, it really comes down to one thing: whether the Bronco lifestyle is a good fit for you. The Bronco isn't built to please everyone, and that's kind of the point. For some buyers, it's a dream SUV, and for others, it's completely the wrong choice. If you're mainly commuting every day and want something quiet, cushy, or packed with advanced driver assist features like Ford's Blue Cruise, this isn't the one for you. The Bronco's louder on the highway, the ride can feel a little rough, and the tech doesn't match what you'd find in a luxury SUV. Where it really shines is for weekend adventurers, families who love getting outdoors, and people who want to customize their ride. Every trim comes standard with 4-wheel drive, plenty of ground clearance, and solid off-road geometry. Even the base is trail-ready with its GOAT modes. Add the Sasquatch package and you're rolling on 35-inch tires with beadlock-capable wheels, lower gearing, and locking diffs front and rear. Basically, the easiest way to make a Bronco feel fully built without doing it yourself. Inside, the Bronco is more rugged than plush. Trims with the marine-grade vinyl and rubberized flooring option make it easy to hose out after a trail day, but even in higher trims, the cabin feels more functional than fancy. Hardtops can bring squeaks and rattles over time, though that comes with the removable roof design. The big 12-inch Sync 4 screen is a highlight with responsive wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and if you spring for the Luxe package, you'll also get extra tech and driver assist features like a 360-degree camera, adaptive cruise, though without the stop-and-go function you'll find in the smaller Bronco Sport, and an upgraded 12-speaker B&O sound system that makes daily life a little more enjoyable. Fuel economy is what you'd expect from a big, boxy SUV. The 2.3-liter four-cylinder averages around 20 mpg, while the 2.7-liter V6 comes in closer to 18 or 19. Throw on Sasquatch with the big tires and you're more likely to see mid-teens. But let's be honest, fuel economy isn't why you buy a Bronco. If you're cross-shopping with the Wrangler, the Bronco brings some nice advantages. The independent front suspension makes it more comfortable and stable on the road, and the body-mounted mirrors mean you still have visibility with the doors off. You also get to choose between either a turbo four-cylinder or a twin-turbo V6, depending on your preference. The Bronco may be fun, but it's not cheap. When it launched in 2021, the base model came in at $29,995, making it feel like a lot of truck for the money. Today, that same entry-level two-door is creeping towards $40,000. Nearly a 10 grand jump in just a few years is hard to ignore. But that's just the start. Say you want a four-door to fit the family, the base model starts around $41,000 with zero options. But if you plan to hit the trails, you'll want the Sasquatch package. Now let's say you care more about comfort and style. The Outer Banks trim brings body-colored fenders and a nice interior, but starts at $50,000 before options. Add the Luxe package, which includes the 360-degree camera, adaptive cruise control, and B&O sound, and you're at $53,000. Do you want the painted hardtop? That's another almost $3 grand. Just like that, a street-focused Bronco with modern tech features is $56,000, and that's still with the four-cylinder engine. The V6 models and special editions climb even higher, often pushing almost $60,000 before you add a single aftermarket upgrade to make it your own. Then there's the Bronco Raptor, which shows just how volatile the pricing game has been. It was announced as a surprisingly reasonable figure, and then Ford quietly raised the MSRP multiple times while demand was red hot. But as supply caught up and demand cooled, the 2025 mid-year pricing adjustment slashed over $10,000 off the Raptor sticker. That swing highlights the unpredictability of Bronco pricing. Reliability is one of the biggest question marks with the release of the 6th generation Bronco, and honestly, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some people like me haven't really ran into any issues. Others, not so much. When these first came out in 2021, Ford had a rough launch. Some early owners ran into serious problems. A few 2.7-liter engines failed because of bad valves, others had steering racks or tie rods break, and then there were the recalls. Axles, airbags, even rear shock reservoirs falling off Sasquatch-equipped Broncos. A lot of that tied back to supply chain mishaps and Ford rushing to deliver Broncos. One issue that comes up here and there is the brake system. I've seen owners report brake warnings tied to sensors, modules, or even a weak battery confusing the system. Some people had their Broncos sit at the dealer for weeks waiting on parts, while others just needed a quick software update. Bottom line, if you ever see a check brake system warning, don't drive it, get it checked out right away. Now that's just one possible issue. I've also heard of manual transmissions grinding or making noise, but for me personally, no grinding gears, no electrical issues. The only thing was my hardtop. It did start cracking near the windows, but Ford replaced it under warranty, and it's been fine so far. Despite some of these potential issues, many of them have been addressed through recalls and service bulletins by Ford. So if your Bronco is still under warranty and you're working with a dealership that's responsive and helpful, most of these problems shouldn't be a deal breaker. However, windshields are a whole other story, and not because of a design flaw or quality issues. The Bronco uses an upright, flat windshield, which naturally makes it more susceptible to rock chips and cracks, especially if you spend a lot of time on the highway or off-road. It's not a reliability problem, just a trade-off that comes with the classic boxy SUV shape. If you're planning to own one, it's worth looking into windshield protective film or double-checking your insurance coverage for glass replacement. I have actually replaced my windshield once and had to have multiple chips filled, and insurance definitely helped with keeping the repair price lower. And when it comes to upkeep, the Bronco's pretty much what you'd expect from an off-roader. Oil changes, tire rotations, and basic maintenance are just part of the package, especially if you're running bigger tires or actually spending time off-road. Ford did something really smart with the Bronco. They didn't just build an off-road SUV, they built a platform for people to make their own, almost like they handed you the keys to a blank canvas. And they designed it so most upgrades can be done with basic tools you already have, not special dealership equipment. That philosophy shows up in little details like the Bronco bolts. You'll spot them inside and out, stamped with Bronco Right on the heads. They're not just decoration, they're built as attachment points for accessories like lights, racks, and mounts. It's Ford's way of giving you an open invitation to make this vehicle yours. Naturally, a big part of Bronco ownership is modifying it. The most common upgrades are wheels, tires, and lifts to squeeze out more capability and style. Lighting upgrades and roof racks are also super popular, especially for people who camp or hit trails at night. The aftermarket support is so good that you can really tailor it to fit how you use it. Then there are other smart features that make living with a Bronco easier. The frameless doors slim down when you drop the windows and use quick connect wiring so you can pop them off fast. On 4-doors, you can stash all 4 in the cargo area with the included bags, so no damaged doors on the trails. The body-mounted mirrors stay put when the doors are off so you don't lose visibility. Inside, all Broncos come with silicone-sealed hero switches and well-placed grab handles. Combine these well-thought-out features with the aftermarket support and community around the Bronco, and it's easy to see why people fall in love with these. So is the Bronco worth it? Absolutely. It's fun, capable, and surprisingly easy to live with. If you're the kind of person who wants to explore, camp, or just enjoy the open-air experience, this thing is for you. If not, you'll probably be happier in an Explorer or Expedition. If you enjoyed this video, check out the one right here on screen, where I share everything I wish I knew before I bought my Bronco. And if this video was helpful, give it a like and consider subscribing so you don't miss future Bronco content. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.